Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. Funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian and the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me in our state-of-the-art recording studio in downtown La Mesa, California, above Public Square Coffee, is my lovely wife, co-host, overall great gal, Melissa Nickerson, our producer, Andy Lara.
What up?
Mel is dressed like a sleepy little cowboy.
Yep.
She got a little cowboy little PJs on, just a little cowgirl PJ. She's ready to go night-night.
I can sleep in this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It looks like, looks like a Western night theme sleepover.
And Dustin's ready for his 5th grade picture day.
Oh, this girl.
Turns on the oven.
Oh, my. Who wrote that for you?
Me, because it's our daughter's picture day, our 5th grader. And I was going to cut her bangs all weekend.
Yeah.
And then I did not.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
This is a classic kind of like little kid shirt. Like you'd see like a young boy in this a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely have a shirt like that from 2nd grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
I was thinking of that Umbro or something. There was like a brand.
Yes. That's
that
it.
it?
Umbro. Yeah.
There was a brand in like kind of the 90s.
Remember Umbra, right? Umbro, the soccer brand?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
like a soccer.
Umbro, yeah.
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 I don't know.
I don't think they made stuff like this. They made soccer stuff.
Star warm-ups.
Yeah.
Jackets. I don't know. There's a stripe shirt from the 90s, late 90s that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. It's probably
Brand.
No Fear.
Joel would know.
Oh, I guess Umbro had stuff in
Yeah.
that vein. But, well,
Anyway.
I still like it. And you've told me you like
dude,
when
I
I wear
like
blue.
it.
Blue is the color you like on me.
Mhm.
Pink is the color that I like on you.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like all of the colors on you. Guys, let me tell you about our Patreon. No, we got a lot to get to today, everybody. We got a weekend recap. Weekend recap. Wait, it's a double day today, and I'm already messing up words. We got some topics. I want to talk about Claire's geography quizzes, cleaning the trash cans. Mel had a spa day. We got some bingo dingos, some emails.
Love it.
Mel had a wild Saturday.
I just want, for the record.
For the record.
Patreon.
Yes.
Patreon.
Patreon. Patreon.
Sunday,
Bloody Sunday. On 2 episode days, I do like the word song association thing pretty quick. So that's kind of what my brain does anyways. It's like if I hear anything that reminds me of a song, I want to sing that song with my whole heart.
Yes.
So
I understand this by
anyways.
You said Patreon.
Patreon
and
hang.
In September 8th, which is Sunday.
Okay.
We are doing our September Zoom hang.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Great. I only thought of 2 songs while you said that, which was Wake Me Up When September Ends. And then
Nice.
Sunday, there's a million options. I couldn't decide if I wanted
what?
Sunday Morning by Maroon 5 or Easy Like Sunday Morning, you know?
What I think is awesome is that like
Everything is awesome. Do you want me to do it or not? I'm sorry. This is what I do.
correlated.
Yeah.
So I'm just like a mom on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, new volleyball pic,
Yeah.
like, and now you can add a song, or you can always add a song on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that.
You don't need the song. Yeah.
I can't think of songs all the time.
Yeah.
Like I
do is think of songs.
People
all the
are
time.
always like, what's your favorite X? And I'm like, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
And or if I think of something, it's just the most random thing I've ever thought.
You hate thinking of the thing.
I'm like, give me an hour.
Yeah.
I'll make a list. And
you'll check it twice.
And
sometimes it's Christmas songs. What you think of?
So this skill of yours is perfect for the internet. This song association, because you post tour dates and then 10 songs pop in your brain.
Yeah, it is fun, yeah.
And that is a skill I don't have. So I just think that's awesome.
Well, that's a nice way of saying it. And thank you. I do really like I really like curating the right song. And then I really like curating how, when I post a video, how I'm going to tie that into my tour dates promo. Like I posted a crowd work one yesterday about the guy wearing an ascot. And I was like, dress up or down and catch me on tour, something like that. Like, that's just fun for me.
No, I just that's amazing.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
If you were like in the corporate world, you would be like running Urban Outfitters social media.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Right.
You're
saying if I ruled the world. If I ruled the world.
I saw that coming.
Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very nice.
Just like online marketing today is so difficult if it doesn't come naturally to you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're creative. I'm just
that's very
celebrating your creativity.
Well.
So look at that.
I'll receive that.
Look at that.
It's not easy for me to receive compliments, but when they come from a sleepy cowgirl, this 5th grade boy feels great. Sleepy cowgirl and the 5th grade boy.
Uh-oh. Wait, what?
Anyways, it's a lesser known Dr. Seuss book.
I was doing our makeup. I was doing my makeup.
I don't do makeup. I'm wearing makeup.
In the
Bo Burnham song. That's
BTS,
a deeper pull.
Behind the scenes. And I was like, I'm not going to be on camera anymore.
This was it?
Today's my last day.
Last day. Mel's putting in her 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is the last one.
We're not going to get Mel back from the anniversary trip next week. And
this is it.
Which you'll get that joke if you were part of the BTS. Which is tied to our Patreon.
This is my last video episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Just gonna get a cutout of Mel in this audio behind it.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna have Andy blur my face.
Oh, like witness protection style? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So I'll just be you, and then I'll just be kind of like a blurry movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna blur.
Yeah.
Just like top of head to knees.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be blurred.
There you go.
We're gonna make you like a little Minecraft block head.
Yeah.
It looks like you.
Yeah. Sometimes when sometimes you'll say the name of a band and that song will come to my head. So I didn't think of a song there. You said Blur and I go, woohoo! When I feel heavy metal, woohoo! And our kids always know that as the song from the Hop soundtrack, which you're like, all right.
That was a great pairing.
Yeah. Well, the same lead singer as the Gorillaz.
Yes.
Feels good. Ding, ding, ding.
Amazing.
Ding, ding.
Amazing.
Anyways,
so I was in my
So Mel's quitting the podcast, everybody,
that's
because she doesn't want to be seen on camera
and
anymore.
2, I went to a lot of back to school nights last week, and one of them was
You went back to school last week.
I did.
Mel enrolled in a middle school and a high school last week.
I went to choir, show choir for my freshman daughter. I sat in that class, and then I went to music foundations for Claire, our 5th grader. And I was like, gosh, I am not a technical person, because they started talking about, and you two are like, percussion and musician, the 8th note and the quarter note and the 16th note and I'm like lost.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real musician. I was a bass player. Yeah, we were one note at a time. As jazz band,
you get the
we did some
booklets
stuff
out and you go ta ta ti ta 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 ti ta, and I'm like, yeah, this is where I just kind of like zoned out.
Yeah.
In music, like I did choir, but it's so funny how I refused to learn how to read music.
You're like, I'm good. I don't need this. Yeah, you were in college. You were in a choir in college.
I took choir in college because I was like, I got to get my arts credit fulfilled, and then I got a graphic design degree. But it's so funny. I did handbells in church, Baptist church.
Of course you did.
And I had no clue what I was doing. No clue. Just whenever I would just look down the table and be like,
like, well, Mel's really taking some artistic direction here. I didn't know I didn't know you did handbells. I didn't know that about you.
I think I told you before, but No, we had handbells, and they. Did
I
not
learned
come
something
out
about you
often,
to do. This is interesting.
But,
they did not come out often.
They did not come out often.
Were these the Texas years?
Southern Baptist Church.
Tiny and the Burke Burnett years.
Burke Burnett. They had them, and they would line up tables, and the music.
I've never even seen
minister
them. I've only heard about them.
Would he would be like conducting us,
right?
And the good kids had the huge, like kind of more bass bells.
Okay.
And then they got way smaller for the high notes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was definitely on the high end, but
They gave you one that only dogs could hear. It was so high. They're like, ding, ding.
There's like a way.
Yeah.
Dong, dong, dong.
Yeah. They're like,
Did you have the white gloves too?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, isn't it the girl who was Annie? Apparently she can sing and act, but she has no rhythm.
And all the older kids got the big bells, and I
You're in those like tiny little keychain ones. It's like ding, ding.
They were like, "You're done." Actually, those kids can play like 5 bells.
Yeah.
And you can sit down.
Yeah. You got one.
It's impressive because they would have to pick them up really fast.
You got one of those kids who's like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Just he's got full situation. He's got all these bells all over him. Just ding dong, ding dong, ding. And Mel.
I would just be like, bong.
Did you play bells?
No.
Oh yeah. You didn't. Your church didn't have them growing up.
No, my grandma's Methodist church.
Yeah.
They would have like at Christmas and
Mel's crying, laughing over the bells.
At Christmas, they'd have. So I'm totally familiarized with the handbell movement.
Yeah.
I just.
See, I don't even know this because I wasn't churched as a child and I was never really in small churches. I don't know this motion as a bell.
Like
when I think of bell, I think of like this,
Because you hold it upright.
They're focused.
You hold it upright.
So the bell's facing upright. So the thing is sitting.
Yeah.
So when you throw your hand, it's like throwing the thing.
Oh my God.
Like this, baby.
Yeah.
They're like, bong.
And so they really resonate.
Yeah.
Bong,
Whoa.
bong. And then there's me. I'm not even paying attention. Good thing the music minister had 4 children.
Yeah.
And they were all musically inclined.
Yeah.
So that family alone is carrying most of the music section. And my brother was great at piano and the French horn. So he probably had a lot of bells too.
Yeah. This is an angle I don't know this world as well, but one thing you don't think about is like how like as a child, like church can be kind of humiliating for a non-musical child. And they're like, hey, every kid gets a bell. And you're like, I don't know what to do with this. So you're saying there's a bunch of really good kids over here, and they give you a bell that doesn't even make noise.
I got 2 silent bells.
Yeah. That's really funny. I've never even thought about that.
Your bell just has like a little line through it.
Yeah. It doesn't actually have a thing on the inside. Can you turn the volume of my bell up?
Mine's muted.
Yeah. Who knew? I didn't know.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Well,
I know.
we definitely planned on talking about all that, guys. Any of you on the podcast, you're like, was that planned content? 100%. That's so funny, Mel. Oh, well, guys, there'll be no bells at my upcoming shows. Maybe some bells and whistles. But, guys, this weekend, we got to promote some dates. This weekend, we'll be in Tacoma, Friday through Sunday at the Tacoma Comedy Club. I think Saturday early shows sold out. There's some tickets to the other ones. Then September 20th through 22nd in Milwaukee, September 27th. Boston, the 28th, I'm actually going to be doing, if any of you guys are in the Fairfield, Connecticut area, I'm going to be doing a fundraiser for Homes with Hope. at the Quick Center for the Arts. So you'll see the higher price ticket than you're used to on that. That's because it's a fundraiser in the area. So if you guys want to check that out, you're welcome to. And then in October, we have Appleton, Austin, Louisville, Salt Lake City. November is Oxnard, Bakersfield, Springfield, Raleigh, Chattanooga. December is Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Spokane, and Phoenix. And then in the new year, we have Indy, on sale now, Denver, St. Louis, and Toronto. I think we're about to add Rochester in June. I think I just got that offer as we sat here, as Belle was.
Nice. Sorry.
No, it's hilarious.
Handbells.
There's nothing to be sorry about. It's unbelievable. So funny.
I don't know. I guess it's like when you had to draw something in class.
I mean,
you're like, I just don't have the foundational tools.
We made Native American headdresses one time in 4th grade, and like mine was so bad. Mine didn't even really resemble like an animal. You know, it was supposed to be a wolf. It was supposed to be a wolf. It looked like a struggling weasel. It was really bad, and it was humiliating for you if you didn't have art skills. You know, I have the old joke about this, about the MLK thing, which is a true story. And it's one thing. The bad headdress was the worst art project imaginable, because it's one thing if you make a bad piece of art. It's quite another thing if they hang the bad piece of art. We had to wear them. I had to wear my terrible struggling weasel on my head at like an assembly. And everyone's like, whoa. Oh, okay. Well, he does get good grades. And he's fairly... Well, good thing that one's funny. He's good with words, that one. Mm-hmm. He could have written a great story about the origin of but it was tough. That's a great comparison. Art was It's like, we're going to do art. You're like, gosh, I remember the paper mache pumpkin we did. I couldn't even get it circular. You know, it's like paper mache pumpkin was a cool art project. Remember paper mache? Do they still do paper mache?
I did it in Spanish class. We made piñatas.
Yeah. We made pumpkins, and then they were like...
it takes weeks.
Yeah. It's so messy.
So they're like, here's the newspaper strip.
I was going to say...
Dip this in glue.
Yeah, walk me through what exactly is paper mache, because I don't understand.
Dip it in glue.
So you're taking newspaper clips, dipping in strips.
First, you got to make the newspaper strip.
Yeah, so
Then you get like...
which already was bad. Because I looked like I was like using lefty, like they could have seen the lack of straightness on my newspaper, and they're like, "Oh no, this is gonna go bad." Dustin needs an easier project. Can Dustin trust stick people?
There are a lot of kids who struggle with scissors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I teach art in classrooms of like 5th graders.
Yeah.
And we did a project where they had to tear paper. And I was like, okay, guys, here we go. So like, for example, when I was in 2nd grade, I was making pop-up cards and books.
Okay.
Like, that's what I would do in my room by
at
myself.
Home. Yeah. I also collected stamps, not like postage stamps.
My addiction is...
Yeah.
I love stamps. Try and do stamps with my kids.
Yeah, no one's ever...
I'm always... Claire...
Not postage stamps.
Yeah, Claire was making... She has 3 birthday parties.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could get the stamps out. She's like, I'll draw, Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I did so much card making. Like, nobody did more card making than me.
No.
Nobody.
You were your own little hallmark.
Cross stitching. I mean, don't even get me started on cross stitching. So this is what I did.
Yeah.
So then, have no musical.
Don't even get me started on cross.
I have no rhythm.
Well, looks like we just named the episode.
That's what I was writing down.
Don't even get me started on cross stitching. I mean, you still
So there you go.
do that on planes.
So I did. Yeah, during the pandemic, I started cross stitching again.
Some people drank. Some people, did Zoom therapy. Some people,
Yeah.
Mel found, melted money out of the state of California and cross stitched.
When we would watch Zoom church, I would cross stitch. Or when
Yes.
I would watch Zoom church, I
Yeah.
would cross stitch.
Yeah, because they frown on that in person church.
And so then,
They shouldn't, though.
no.
Let me play my Pokemon and let Mel cross stitch. We're paying attention.
So then
Maybe if your sermon was better, it'd be easier to pay attention. What? Sorry.
All right, Dustin.
This isn't very funny.
Dude, stop.
I'm not naming names.
Okay. I have to explain how I started embroidering.
Yeah.
So it was when our daughter was going to kayaking competitions,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting at those.
Yeah.
And I got my first embroidery kit. You're like,
Wait, I'm sorry, this started
I'm
with
gonna stop.
kayaking competitions. Wait, I'm sorry. Can we go back to that?
This isn't super relatable content. It's great. No, it's so specific. It's wonderful.
so
This is
during
good.
the pandemic, our
It's really
daughter.
carrying this episode. You're just... The key to getting Mel is just to get her to talk about her weird particular habits and stories. This is my favorite thing about you. You have this real uniqueness to you of like,
Gates are open.
yeah, with church bells. This is good on a 2-episode day. I mean, if we're doing pie chart of, I mean, Mel's done 80% of the content.
I'm going to stop talking.
No, please do. Are you kidding? No, I'm being genuine. I think this might be a little bit what it feels like to be you on the episode normally, where I kind of just go on these dumb rants and stories, and you're like, okay, and you're trying to get back, and I'm like, this is pretty easy. Not that what you do is normally easy, but this is great. So crossed it because I put a pin. You still have to explain what paper mache is, but we've gone to 5 different crafts. We still haven't. You refuse to get started on cross stitching. You refused. You're like, we don't have the time.
Oh my gosh. Can't look at you.
Don't even get me started. Can you hand me a tissue?
Yeah.
I won't do it. I refuse. I will not get started on. I draw the line at cross stitching. All right, so you got your first embroidery kit when we were Andy, some our listeners will, old-time listeners will know, Gloria was a competitive kayaker there for a while. So she would.
It was a pandemic hobby.
Yeah.
It was outdoors. It was the only thing.
We don't have to explain kayaking. We don't even get me started on kayaking.
Yeah. So for 2 years, Gloria attended canoeing nationals in Oklahoma City and Ohio for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there.
For lovers.
I was there with her. So that's how I started embroidering. And now I like to do it on planes.
Yeah.
And like listen to audiobooks.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So bring me back to what. So when I remember the strips, and then I remember dipping them. We were dipping them in glue?
I think it was like a glue water mixture.
Yeah.
And then you're putting those strips on a balloon.
Yes. That's right. There was a balloon involved.
This would take weeks.
I could never tie a balloon. I learned how to tie a balloon as an adult. You're so good with knots. You probably tied off your own umbilical cord.
It's hard.
You just got out. I got it, Doc.
I can't even
No, you snip. I'll tie it. I got it.
I I will do stuff.
Did she do a bow? Oh my gosh.
I don't even look. I can do it without looking.
If you would have had the stomach for it, I bet you would have been good at like giving stitches, like as a doctor or a nurse or whatever, you know?
Yeah, probably.
In a pinch, you could probably give stitches, right? Like if
Yeah.
You could,
It's sewing.
Yeah. You would faint, but you could probably do it unconscious anyways. Could do it blind.
I know. I don't like wounds. I don't. No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know,
it's unbelievable.
We all got through somehow.
Yeah.
And that's
Did you
how
ever do the masks with the like plaster? Not like full plaster, but like the bandage strips that you dip into, it's like a plaster liquid, and then you made masks with those.
Oh my!
Did you ever do that?
No.
Yeah, that unlocked a whole bunch of different fears.
Yeah.
Scariest masks in the world. Was this in a foreign language class or?
Oh, it'd be like it was in like a language arts, and we did like a history, so you'd have to do a mask from a different place in the world, kind of like situation. But like sitting there while people put stuff on your face, makes you super claustrophobic.
Was this homeschooled or you were public school?
Yeah. This was like.
Do you guys do a lot of art at homeschool?
Oh, tons.
I was gonna say because in my mind it's mostly art. Like, I don't know a lot about homeschool, but in my mind it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of art projects. You know. Andy Stanley had a group where he goes, yeah, the problem with homeschool is I just learned everything my mom knew. And he goes, it ends up that was not enough. And, you know, I only knew one girl, my sister, and she was off limits.
Oh, my gosh.
It's great. Andrew. Andy's his dad. Andy Stanley, the megachurch pastor. Yeah. His son is Andrew Stanley, a very funny comedian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I only knew what my mom knew. It's very funny. It's perfect. But yeah, in my mind, there's a lot of arts. Like if we ever had to homeschool, Mel would just be like, "Well, you are going to be artists, and we're all just going to teach you art in this old bus that Dustin's going to have to travel in."
No, I
if
think
you need
would
stitches,
have done
Mom's got you.
Creative writing. No, the hard thing.
Always been a good writer. That's the one thing I got.
The hard thing about like, you know, being artistic or being a writer is it doesn't mean you can teach it.
No.
And it doesn't mean your kids picked up on your natural.
No, when you helped Joel. The irony is that you helped Joel with his papers a lot because Joel's like, you wrote a book. Like you always, I was like, I don't know how to teach it. I'm sorry.
Or to edit it, like that's very different than like a brainstorming session.
It's a lot like script writing where it's very specific formatting. And if I wasn't in that class and I didn't, that's the thing. It's hard to I don't know what structure your teacher wants because it's all very particular.
I did so much essay writing like in my schools, you know, that I'm like, oh,
but it's different.
Find the thesis.
Yeah, but they don't teach. There's no way that they're asking kids. We've gotten in fights about this before over helping Joel with his paper where I'm like, your help may not be help for them because it may not be what they're looking for.
What's hilarious? I went at the back to school night was he took a college rhetoric class last semester, spring semester. And at open house, they said you can take your papers to the college writing center. And get these like looked over but he never did that. He brought them to me the night before they were due, and then we would all fight over my edits, and so it's hilarious. But things we miss.
It's hard. It is. You're also just like, I don't know. You said this, I think one of your big takeaways recently as a parent is like, your problems are not my problems always. Like sometimes they are. You know, but like I do need to help you get to school and be on time and make sure you turn your homework in. But there was one specifically where it was like, I don't know, remember something that like Gloria needed or something. And you're like, this doesn't have to be urgent to me. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
But.
Well, too bad. It would have been good podcast content.
Dang it.
That's my fault.
Our daughters do text me a lot.
Yeah.
and you kind of just think before you write back, because it's a problem.
Right.
But it's via text.
Yeah.
And then you go, uh-oh, or like, oh no, but you don't solve it via text.
Yeah.
Because they probably are just processing it.
Right.
It's probably not, but it's alarming as the parent to get those texts.
Yeah.
But then you go like, and they're very urgent.
And
it probably just needs to be like said, and so they choose to say it to you.
Yeah, well,
and it's an interesting dynamic. Like,
and they don't have
over the weekends, they're with friends, they're at tournaments, they're at sleepovers,
and they don't have the adult brain to go what we would go, which is like, I'm actually not looking for a solution. I just kind of need to talk this out. We did this on the car earlier today. I was telling you, this is something that I've been learning and kind of growing. When I'm telling you a struggle of mine, I'm not looking for feedback, and I'm not looking for you to tell me how to fix it. Or I'm not looking for you to even really agree with me that that's a struggle. Like I was telling,
kind of presenting it.
Like I was just telling you, like, it is I don't like when the kids tell me I'm wrong about something. It irks me and I get angry. And I'm not looking for you to go, and you didn't, so to go like, yeah, but you just got to deal with that. This is me dealing with it. Me saying out loud, it's not good that I do this. I have a million flaws, and that is absolutely I don't like a kid saying no to me, and I don't like a kid telling me I'm wrong, like over a dispute. Now I need to be patient with that and grow and not get angry. And one of the things I'm learning as a parent is like, I actually don't really have to prove if I'm right or wrong to you. It doesn't matter if
you're the parent.
It doesn't matter if you think I'm right or wrong. Either way, you have to do what I say you have to do. It doesn't. The right or wrong doesn't matter.
The relationship doesn't change.
It doesn't. I'm still in charge in this scenario. So, but but that's me just trying to grow. Like, because then if you and would then be pile on me, it's like, no, I know, but you can't expect that from a child. I'm almost 40, and I started doing this a month ago.
Yeah. Well, they're also new to texting, and so my point is kind of like,
I think Gloria's gotten in more texting in a year than I have 20 years. So I wouldn't say she's new to texting.
Well, Claire is, but it'd be like if you texted me, I'm quitting this job.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'm not going to reply back like, wait, think, don't do it.
Yeah.
You're like, this is just, you're just like, kind of like, I'm in a bad place right now. Or, so I don't know, like I guess it's just a new layer of parenting is when your kids dump their problems on you via text.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see them for like 8 to 12 hours. So you're like, oh, okay, that's new.
Yeah. Ends up you can't call it trauma dumping when it's your kid. You're like, I guess I got to hear this out. I'm happy to do it.
Well, friends do it too. It's just, it's the new era.
Yeah.
It's sometimes.
I am blown away.
The kids, like Gloria at these volleyball tournaments, she will tell us more via group text.
Yeah.
And she will face to face.
No, and that's like
mind blowing, but it's the reality. I
hate a conversation via text. I don't want a conversation. I want answers and information.
Yeah.
Like I don't like even from friends. Like I had a friend text me yesterday. Brian Simpson texted me yesterday. He's a comic guy that I started with.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was really nice. It was out of nowhere. He was just like, hey man, just checking in. How you doing? Really nice, thoughtful text. Nice. This guy and I we were open micers together. Now he's on Rogan all the time. He's at Mothership. He has a Netflix special.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was and we texted for a little while, kind of like passively. But that's what I wanted. I immediately wanted to call him. But I have to, in those moments, go like, there's.
He chose to text you.
He chose to text me. Some people are this way. Abby's this way. I have friends in my life that they're like, how are you? And I have to set aside times where I can do that. Really what I like to do is I like to do it when I'm on an airplane. and I'm also emailing, and I can kind of almost like treat that like a little side chat, you know.
You can type it, like,
but
not text.
Yeah, Facebook group, please, and others, please tell me. Like, I think there are people like me, right, that just do not like a text conversation.
No, last night, one of my
I struggle with it.
Neighborhood friends, I was like, oh, I heard this. Is this true?
Yeah.
And it involved her kid and a team. And in my head, I was like, we should just talk about this Saturday when we hang out.
Yeah.
But she just straight told me the whole story via text.
Wow.
You know?
Well,
and,
I think
and we'll forget by Saturday.
And some people are like that. I just can't do that. To me, I'm like, what I like about a conversation is like, I can give you I can give you all of my attention or none of my attention. And that's how I am with texts. Like right now, it's not, this isn't just for point. I have 225 unread text messages. Like, it's,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're like, okay. No, I just got one I shouldn't have checked that. One of them's pretty serious.
No.
Ruh-roh. That's why you saw me. I read part of it. That was a mistake. But that's a good example of like...
it steals your attention.
It's actually somebody telling me something fairly important that, in my mind, but people can have heavy conversations via text, and I just can't do it.
I think this is like when we get home and you start ripping open all the mail, and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Because I want to put that under a
I don't do that
notepad.
anymore.
Okay, well, it's not a big... I don't do
it anymore.
Okay, well, thank you.
What Gloria likes to do is see if any of the Amazon packages are for her.
But the point being, I'm like tabling that.
Yeah.
The mail is for like...
Literally. You put it on the table and put it away from you.
The mail is for when like a bunch of people are around and we got to like casually exist. Then I can just open this stuff. But like when I get home, I got to feed the cats. And
you
put every the stuff away.
Yeah.
You know, like...
You are so particular of not just about a thing that needs to get done, about the way it needs to get done. This is like a classic marital fight.
I try to let go, but sometimes I can't. And yesterday was very poor form for me.
I thought you were in an incredibly good mood yesterday.
Well,
you've never been in a better mood with the day I get home.
We'd been gone 5 days.
I felt like you were happy to see me, and that is not how I feel when I get home normally. And I'm not saying I deserve that. I'm just saying normally it's like...
I'm like letting you kind of into like how stressed out I am.
Yeah.
So it was funny.
Maybe it was because it was a Labor Day and the kids were off of school, or I don't know. But anyway.
Well, you know what it was because both of our daughters had sleepovers elsewhere.
That's true. You and Joel had the house to yourself that night.
And Joel and I all weekend were like, when he was home, I wasn't home, and when vice versa. And so we didn't even see each other, which was hilarious because we're the only two home for a good majority of the time. Yeah. And then I realized yesterday when my daughter wanted to be driven somewhere, I was like, I've been driving for 3 hours. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I didn't like go to
that's crazy.
Oceanside. I just like drove in our community for 3 straight hours.
Yeah.
And
in the car. This is why that video went so viral. This is what we do. We're in the car. Yeah.
So
you may have seen it. I got like 40 million views. My most viewed thing ever.
But so the funniest thing is, like with my son, like he wants his cross-country flats returned and exchanged, but we don't ever sync. Our lives don't sync, so we can't do that together.
You and Joel, yeah.
Yeah, and then he needed...
Well, that's because
with his side business, he needed something laundered particularly. Yeah. And I've sent him videos on how to do it.
Cat peed on some Lululemon pants he was trying to sell.
They already sold.
Oh, row.
Okay, so...
Ruh-roh.
So I'm sending him YouTube links, but he needs me to walk him through doing it, and then it didn't even work like an hour later. But I can't do that stuff without him.
Right.
And so it's like, when does he want to do it, and when am I available to do it? So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting having older kids.
Well, he also has no interest in being available for a task. That's the hard thing with a teen is he's never like, oh, let me make myself available. He's absolutely available. He has the time to do these things. He's just like, well, I'm going to go do these other things that I want to do first.
And I understand that because you're like, hey, do you want to like try and get into your Kaiser account, or do you want to go to your friend's beach birthday party?
Well,
you know. Or like, hey, do you want to go buy a homecoming outfit, or do you want to go
Hoko
thrift all day with your friends?
Yeah.
Number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, that freedom of having a car, you're just like, man, I can do anything.
Whenever.
And I think that's part of the reason that senioritis exists for so many kids. Is they're just like, wait, it's because a lot of time my senior year, you have a job and stuff too. Yeah. You're like, why am I still going to school? I have a car and a job, I'm like, I can go to war legally by age. Why am I still in class?
I feel it's the same thing as 8th grade and senior year. You're just like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ready for the next thing.
You don't see it from is kindergartners. Kindergartenitis.
6th grade-itis.
I need some real school. Tired of snacks and naps.
And Play-Doh. Yeah.
You did have a particularly wild Saturday.
I did. I really did.
Yeah, talking about 4 or 5 places in once. So you woke up. I had a great weekend in Texas. I was in Texas for 5 days. Wednesday, San Antonio, Thursday, Houston, and then Friday through Sunday in Dallas, Addison, technically. Great shows, all of them. Great sales. You guys are fantastic. Even San Antonio on a Wednesday, it wasn't like a huge group, but it was a Wednesday. It was great. And then Thursday was like pretty much sold out, the Houston, and then sales were incredible in Dallas. So thanks for everyone that came to those clubs. Texas is a great comedy state. I was talking to this, I think I like to ask comedians about, like, what are the best states for comedy? And you think about the crowds, and you think about the cities, and you think about the clubs. And Texas, we all put Texas on the list. Texas is
amazing.
And I'll be back in Austin in October 10th through 13th at Cap City, October 11th through 13th. So it was great. But you're crazy. You went to bed early on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And I stayed up to kind of help get Joel home.
So
because
I believe Friday was the first home football game. I think it was the first high school home football game. And there's this thing where, like, the younger classmen, they don't go home. If they have like a sport, they just go from the sport to the football game.
Right.
And we have a freshman. So she was doing all that with her friends. But then you have to, like, Google when the game's ending, and you can kind of figure it out. So 'cause you have to go pick her up.
Right.
And so I get her home, but then Joel, they were at Raising Cane's or something. They left the game because he's kind of outgrowing football games. Yeah. But he was present for a bit there. Then he went there, and we had a race, and he was supposed to go to a pool party, but we're like, we have to leave at 6:30. You should really go to bed. But it's hard to tell a 17-year-old what to do. So I went to bed, and you were on Joel duty.
Yes.
Just because we wanted to see him home, and I had the other 2 with me.
And I was rewatching X-Men 97, so I was up.
We appreciate that. Like, that's long-distance parenting. But he did make it home, and I did sleep, which was good because I'd get up at 5:45. We get him to his race. He has to be there an hour and a half early. It's in North County. I come back. Oh, and this is so funny. I do go to your least favorite place, but I did get a bribe for our little one to get out the door.
Don't even say the name.
I won't. So I have the bribe in my hand, and I wake her up, and I'm like, come this way. Come to the car. Because she didn't want to get up early and go to her brother's sporting event. But she did. At the same time, Gloria gets picked up by her friend, who we carpool a lot with, to her volleyball tournament. Because they had to be there at the same times. Yeah. So Gloria's out the door. I get Claire. I head back up to North County. I watch this race, talk with all the cross-country parents, etc. It's awesome. We stay longer than planned. Yeah. We do a lunch with my dad. I take Claire and Joel home. I go to North County again. I watch Gloria at her volleyball tournament. They are in the semifinals. They almost make the finals.
Yeah.
It's already 5:00.
Well, yeah.
They've been at it all day. It's getting a little like mean with the parents and on the other team.
You mean to tell me a parent's taking a sporting event too seriously?
There's a lot of hand motions and yelling at a teenage girl who's line judging.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad we lose so we can get out of there. And then it was very nice. We're back at Raising Cane's. The teens choose it. So I got to hang out with the two daughters, and then her mom. So 2 moms, 2 daughters, Raising Cane's dinner. Very nice. Drive Gloria back home. And then I don't even know what happened after that. I think Joel was out again.
I mean, this is the old bit. You're an Amazon driver, but the package hates you. I mean, that's crazy, that routing that you did. They wouldn't even put a driver on that route. They're like, these aren't in the area. This is too much. This is asking too much of a driver.
Well, and I saw my friend in the parking lot at 7 a.m. and she was like, you should have just thrown Joel in our car. And I was like, listen, I get that, but how was I supposed to plan that? He wasn't home. Nobody was home. You can't plan when nobody's home. Yeah. And he wanted me to drive him, so I drove him. Yeah. I could have woken up Claire at 6:30, but I let her sleep another hour. I don't know.
Listen.
It worked. It wasn't ideal, but it worked.
Listen, a 6 a.m. youth sports tournament on a Saturday will have you starting to root against your kid's team.
By 3 p.m.
Yeah. Because you're like, wait, if we lose, we're done? Like, done? Like, we get to go home?
We can pack up and
done?
leave?
Not like we have to stay and watch the finals anyways to support the other team. No, we get to...
line judge?
Oh, you don't have to be a judge? We don't have to do the snack bar? We get to go home. Like, in our car to our house? I mean, you'll be like, oh, gosh, I mean, if our...
You'll trip a outside hitter.
Yeah. You're like, we could use the Achilles tear.
You'll go block at the net.
I'll make a captain disappear. I don't know where she went.
You'll pay someone off in the bathroom.
I'll pay a ref off to go home. I'll pull that ref aside and be like, hey, man, how much? How much to get me home? What's the number? Because I know it's not high.
In, out.
Yeah.
In, out.
Because I know you're going to get yelled at no matter what, win or lose, because surprise, these dads aren't handling this well.
I got a couple cold Gatorades.
Yeah. How about I'll Venmo you 20.
Snack bar nachos.
And a snack bar nachos, jalapenos on the side or on top? How do you want them?
Come to Raising Cane's with us.
We'll both get out of here. Oh, yeah, come with us to Raising Cane's. Get in the car. Get me out of here. And you are happy when they win.
Cool, so we're going to ref and then be off and then play again?
Oh, man. Those tournaments where your kid goes to the finals just to lose in the finals. You're like, we could have gone home.
They didn't have a snack bar. They barely had stands.
Well, a lot of time by the end of the game, the snack bar closes anyways.
There was like 4 rows of stands.
Yeah.
For 3 courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Saturday tournament, you're like, I didn't bring enough food for this.
No.
I'm dehydrated.
A whole page of instructions. Yeah. It was like, you cannot bring anything but water in here.
Yeah.
You can't bring a chair. You cannot camp in here.
Yeah.
You cannot bring a cooler. You cannot bring out any outside food or drink. That was literally all on the form.
So the sport's actually watching it, the sport itself.
Yes.
It's $20 to enter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Well, at least gymnasiums are peaceful, quiet environments that don't cause stress at all. And you don't have any bad memories or anything attached to them.
Actually, the best thing happened. So for the first game I attended, I just stood on the side because that's the other thing. People are always walking by in volleyball tournaments, and kids are serving. You're like, scoot over.
Yeah.
Don't walk on the court.
Yeah.
This is
it's very tight.
Sport.
Yeah.
But then the mom,
some girl on crutches.
the mom in the stands,
and you're like, that's how you go home?
She texted me. I didn't see it, but she literally brought an extra chair for me.
Yeah.
A stadium chair.
That's nice.
She goes, I'm up here in the middle. I got you a stadium chair.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
That's very, very nice. Yeah. And you need that.
Yeah. Oh.
You need that.
I got one more. I got one more rant.
Yeah.
Woman in front of me.
Handbells.
Courtside handbells.
Cross stitching.
She kept scooting her stadium chair into our knees.
Yeah. So tight.
Whole match. Yeah. And I was like this. Like I was her stadium chair's here.
Yeah. And again.
And it keeps moving back the whole match.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop moving.
You're in my area. Personal space, lady. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like by like
over the line.
Yes.
Over the line.
I'm gonna get a whistle.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
I'm gonna ref the parents.
Well, at that point you're already so irritated by everything and you're exhausted. That's why again, you're by like hour 6 into a youth tournament, you're like, I will go Tanya Harding on my own kid. To get out of here.
You're tired?
I will hire someone to take
hot.
a pipe to your knee. And in the van, you're going, why me? Why? And you're like, I don't know what happened. But would you like Raising Cane's?
I mean,
we gotta get some emails.
Whistling for like 10 hours.
Yes. I gotta rein you in today, Mel. I feel like a rodeo cowboy with you today. It's fun. All right, let's get some emails and then get out of here, everybody. So this is from Bonnie, patron, friend of the pod.
Mm-hmm.
She, I think this is on the Facebook group, actually. I don't know if this is an email. If you guys aren't in Dustin Nickerson comedy fans, go get in it. Or also shoot emails to dontmakemecomebackthere@gmail.com. Bonnie says, one of the downsides to ADHD/ADHD is having questions pop into your brain. You want to submit to the Zoom hang, but then they leave your brain because you didn't get to a device fast enough. One was about being a career comic, something to the effect of goals and levels of success, which I suppose really applies to any career. Do you have any goal in mind where you will say, I've made it as a career comic? Have you come across other career comedians where they will only consider themselves successful if they hit it big, or others where they're happy to be someone's opener and middle? This is an interesting question. I think that I think what I'm going to say here is true of everyone in every career, that it just depends on who you are. I think that some people strive for gratefulness and others strive for like an insatiable level of success, like an unquenchable level of it. Like they, and I've been around all the types. So I've been around people that I am convinced will never be happy in this industry. But they also would not be happy in any other industry because they're not striving. They're striving to be on top. Mm-hmm. And there's no such thing as on top. There's no winning comedy. There's no winning life. It's like we all got the same result, baby. There's no, and they need that. Or I'm not even giving them the benefit of saying need. They have this competitive drive, and it's kind of like the Jordan-esque thing, the Mamba mentality of Kobe and stuff. It's very cutthroat, and that's great, but there's also plenty of other people that aren't like that are also successful. So
you can also justify it because you're like, no, this profession is so hard. I have to work this hard.
And
but that's with everything.
If you can do this job, then it's the easiest job in the world that I've ever had. I don't stand for comedians. I just don't agree with the sentiment that this is a harder job than other jobs. As someone who's had way harder jobs,
entrepreneur.
Yeah, I just don't get into it. I look at Andy's setup right now, and I think about his file management and the amount of stuff that he has to do, and the editing and the physical labor it takes to get this set up, and the driving down. Like, that's a job. This is not a job. But you see a guy cleaning windows on the side of a skyscraper, and you're like, that's a job.
Yeah.
This is not a job, you know. It's like I was at this hotel, and there was every day at like 5:30, there was these guys who had this huge project that they were working on, just construction guys, and then they would have like a beer together at the back of their bed. I was like, that's a job. This is a silly little. I make people laugh. What's this? It's crazy. Yeah, it's fun, and it's not easy to do. Because if it were easy to do, it would be the job that everybody did because it's that fun. But the idea that you would take any amount of joy in your job is an incredible luxury.
100%.
Like, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like, if you even kind of like your job, you are so fortunate. And that and then if you're fulfilled in your job, you've like hit the jackpot. So to answer your question, I kind of talked about other comics first, but for me, I always had 2 goals when I started. Now I have more goals now, but when I first started, I was like, I just wanted to be a professional comic. That was my goal. If this can be my job, like, and people are like, oh man, that's his job. I just want this to be my job. I want it to be the thing that I'm working on. And I was complaining to you today that we had to do 2 episodes. What a joke. It's just as stupid as, I had to work multiple hours this morning and then go have lunch with them. Yes, it's easy. It's a joy, I should say. And then the other was, I just want to go into every city and play their good club and have the majority of the people there to see me. So like what I did this weekend in Austin was like my career goal when I started. And I have kind of just met those goals. And now my only goal is it all kind of feeds to just getting more fans, trying to sell more tickets, but I'm just trying to create what I think is interesting and what I think is funny and what I think is like authentic to who I am. And I'm not trying to get everyone to like me, but I'm trying to get everyone that does like me to find me, or that would like me to find me. So that's my favorite thing that's happening in shows right now is when people go, I brought 6 friends and they loved it. And you're like, great. That's what you want to be someone. It's such an honor to be somebody that, dude, you've got to come see this guy. Yeah. That's such an honor. Like, you don't do that. Like, you don't, and that's like you honestly don't even do that with bands because you're like, if you don't know the music, it won't be fun for you. But with comedy, you don't have to know anything about them. You just go in. Yeah. I mean, maybe some people like a blind band. I'm not. If I don't know the songs, I'm kind of bored, unless I really like the band. So that was a long-winded way of saying that. Now, that being said, there are certain moments, like you take in a moment. Like, this Saturday, I'm going to have a sold-out show at Tacoma Comedy Club. I grew up 15 minutes from there. You went to high school 3 blocks from there. Yeah. That's a moment. Sold-out show in Tacoma, essentially my hometown. Like, I grew up closer to Tacoma than Seattle. Yeah. And Federal Way is borders Tacoma. Mel went to high school, lived in, you're like, okay, this is, and then you just think about, I was texting the booker, I was like, thanks again, man, for these building with me. You've lost so much money on me over the years. And he just was like, LOL, so that feels great. And, but like late night, my first Corden was a moment. You just go, because the curtain comes out. It's like Carson back in the day. You get late night TV. That was, I remember, so TV, that's one of the things, TV doesn't matter the way that it used to, but it still feels really good as a comic. And now being one of my favorite things is, it's my favorite credit. I have people announce me is he's a regular on After Midnight. I love that because I did it twice, and then the booker was like, see you in season 3. So fun. So fun.
Season 3?
2, sorry, season 2. It's so fun.
You've been sending me the new stage and stuff.
Looks great. It's
so awesome.
It's fun to be, I mean, obviously it's fun to be there with Tay, but when the last After Midnight was on, I was like a new comic, and I would just dream of being on the show. And I was like, it's back, and my best friend hosts it, and I get to be on it. That's fun. So there are moments like that where you're just like, you got to just kind of breathe this in for a second, So anyways, let's do one more email. That's a good question, Bonnie.
Really good question.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that
this is a funny thing.
You have a friend who is a local comic.
Yeah.
And he has a really great job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it vague. But he loves, like, he performs every month and he writes, and it's just like he's still a comic. He's still fulfilled.
Yeah.
He's also a dad and a husband, and
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The goal, I don't know. The goal for life is peace, contentment. You know, like it's for me, it is. You know, that's what we're aiming for. You know, so. Anyways, this is a funny last email. Here we go. Subject, Yehudi.
It's always a good subject.
Hey, Dustin. Thank you for bringing back a lost memory. When I was a kid, my dad told me there was a little man named Yehudi living in the refrigerator.
What?
Who would run to turn on the light every time I opened the door. He encouraged me to open the door really fast so that I might be able to spot him. I'd completely forgotten that until you brought this up on last week's pod. Little man in there, Yehudi.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's actually my
amazing.
Cat. All right. Thanks again, Janet from Fort Wayne. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, everybody. Want to give a special shout out to our As Essential as Oils Patreons. That is our highest level of patrons, $25 a month and up. Thank you so much for, you know, just being a big part of this podcast and a big part of our lives. So, starting off with
Averill Griffiths,
Adam Bush,
Allison Nelson,
Andy and Darlene Gerton,
Avery Starr,
Bonnie Galiendo,
Brandon Schoenberger,
Carrie Teague,
Christopher and Bridget Finland,
Code 2 Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Damarius Diaz Stevens, Damaris, I like saying it wrong, I did it on purpose.
Daniel Owens,
Damarius Diaz Stevens, I know I did it on purpose. I'm David and Melissa Cox.
Dave Hoagland,
Dustin Daly, I can say that one right.
Jason and Francis White,
Jessica Hanrahan,
Jonathan Ribiera,
Joshua and Nikki Platt,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Lauren Rachel,
Matt and Sam Slosdom,
got it, Michelle Carlson,
Nathan and Jennifer Merritt,
Nicole Carraz,
Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Robert and Nellie Capen,
Stephen Menya,
and Tiffany Payne.
Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.